Welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Ishana, bringing you the latest from the SheBelieves Cup. And it seemed like, Ishana, we'd seen this story before, but in the end, the women's national team was able to get it done.
Yeah, like something about the Gold Cup in Canada. I think I've seen this movie before.
So for those who didn't see the game, it was a very similar game to the semifinal against Canada in the Gold Cup. Canada took the lead. The US came back, took the lead, and again, in an inexplicable situation toward the end of the game, Canada was awarded a penalty, a little bit of a dodgy penalty. Leon put it away, goes to penalty shootouts. And again, when everything looked lost for the US women's national team, Alyssa Naeher came to the rescue. So many things to talk about in this game. Let's start off with, I think overall, just the players. Who stood out for you? Did Sophia Smith obviously getting the 2 goals? I think this solidifies her place on the Olympic team, but just who stood out for you as a whole from players?
Yeah, I mean, let's just start there. We have definitely given Sophia Smith what I would say is a fair shake, what maybe some of our viewers would say some harsh words. However, I'm super happy to say this is probably the best performance I've seen from Sophia Smith in a very, very long time. She still hangs onto the ball a little bit too long, but she is setting herself up as a playmaker. I think she definitely proved herself in this particular game that she is needed on the Olympic squad. And this formation of, Jaden Shaw moving to the 10 and you got Rodman, Smith, that chemistry, I think, is the ticket to the future. And we need to rely on this young talent and see what happens. I mean, as soon as Trinity Rodman came on the pitch too, it was an immediate difference. I really don't think Alex Morgan should be starting. I mean, she is just, she's a legend and she's done amazing things for the sport, but she's a touch slower. And, even Rodman missing her PK, besides that, there's still, these players need to play together to develop. And I think this is what we need to see moving forward. I think Coffee had a great game. I don't think Emily Sonnet should start. I really think she should be there on reserve when help is needed. Obviously, she skied her PK. But regardless of that, I don't think she's super additive on the pitch. I would have liked to see Corbin Albert play more. I think the whole drums, I think we can put it to bed.
Yeah.
And if it has been handled internally, like, Alex Morgan and Lindsay Horan, who put out that statement made, hopefully that's that moving forward.
Yeah. I think the one thing to point out, just going through the game a little bit, is I think the team has shown a lot of resilience. For some reason, it always happens against Canada. I don't know what it is about this particular matchup, but it's a very similar game. They go down behind to a really scrappy goal, and then they showed a lot of resilience in the beginning of the second half to come out immediately, get the equalizer, and then of course get the go-ahead goal as well. And I think that is something that we need to talk about, that this team has shown time and time again that they are resilient.
Yeah, it's the thing too, I think about this team is they're also like, they've started really showing themselves as just hardworking players, I think now, especially like Davidson, for example, who didn't have her best game. She recovered well. Even Emily Fox, who I love, didn't have her best game, but there's this recovery going on that, if someone is messing up or someone's doing this or someone's doing that, people are covering, people are helping each other out. There's not so much helter-skelter play. I think we're playing more as a unit, and that's promising. And I think it's also, like you said, it's building confidence in these players and in US soccer, so that we can believe, so that she believes, even though I don't love that title of the tournament. I think it's ready to be rebranded, but
Yeah. So just one quick note before we get to the Nair show. Um, the U.S. needs to clean up this last minute giving away penalties against Canada, that kind of thing. I know these are one-off situations, but they need to manage the end of games better, because even against Japan, they went to that the formation the other day, which allowed a lot of them to absorb a lot of pressure. And I think for some reason at the end of the games, they go into a little bit of a defensive shell, and it doesn't work very well. Now, 2 times they've been burned in situations against Canada like this.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. I mean, that PK, I really don't think we're, like I say, we're in the era of soft PKs. This is like
Yeah.
a trend now. I really don't think that was a PK, and there's such a done, barely touched her. But I will add that I think even a player like Crystal Dunn, she's great, and she's very hardworking, but she doesn't create as much, I think, a forward motion as like a player like Knight Swanger. And I think leaning into that, we are an attacking team, is what is going to be the ticket for us.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the penalties, because this one started off a little bit rough. Obviously, Trinity Robb missing her penalty, and the two players who both missed last time, for Canada, Leon being one of them, they both made their penalties, and so now we were coming from behind. And I think again it was the Alyssa Naeher show. One name that also needs to be mentioned is Abby Dahlkemper, because she hit an extremely tough pressure cooker penalty. But talk about that. I mean, that was once again Alyssa Naeher.
Yeah, I mean, with Dahlkemper, yeah, her penalty was awesome, and her game was actually, she had a decent game, I would say, better than I've seen her previously.
Yeah.
And Lindsay Horan, as soon as she came up, I was like, okay, you can't go to the left again. You can't go to the left again. And she hit the right. So I thought that was smart as well. Super just calm, collected, consistent. But yeah, I mean, Alyssa Naeher is like, she's just a beast. I mean, she's so, I mean, that stop where she literally just like cupped the ball, and it was like easy piece of cake.
Yeah.
And I just love her, how she just takes those PKs, then goes straight, doesn't celebrate.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I mean, they weren't the best taken PKs. Same thing with the Gold Cup semifinal, but
yeah.
still, I mean, she's awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's taken the loss in the World Cup very personally, especially the loss in penalties. And, I think that's
I
just,
mean, yeah, that one was a save, though. Like, she considers it a save. That's
right.
to use her
Of
words.
course. And I think that she's, it's driven her forward to now. I think the U.S. women's national team should be very confident in penalties moving forward. So another championship to add to for the U.S. women, the SheBelieves Cup. Congratulations about that. Now, before we end this show, just very quickly, Ishana, overall, do you think Twyla Kilgore, because this was her last game in charge, Emma Hayes is going to take over next month, do you think she set the team up for success moving forward to the Olympics?
I absolutely do. I think she deserves a lot of credit. Like I said before, it is really hard to kind of play this transitional role. And I think something she managed well in this tournament, like she believes, is okay, we know the stakes of the tournament aren't as high as other tournaments. And she experimented in a way that was like, it still yielded results, but she was also giving these players, their playing time, and understanding that this is my role, and this is the role of this tournament, and this is where we're at. You're not supposed to be doing that in the World Cup, like Vlad did.
Right, exactly.
And yeah, I think, this sort of collaboration between her and Hayes of this current squad was really smart, and I think overall she's done a great job.
Yeah. So for U.S. women's soccer fans out there, a successful SheBelieves Cup, a successful Gold Cup, back-to-back tournament victories. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. We will come back to you as we get close to the Olympics. A lot to talk about with, Emma Hayes taking over. She'll have a couple friendlies. And so leading into the Olympic tournament. And then, of course, we'll be back for this huge summer of soccer. Anything you want to add, Ishana?
I was just going to say also, can we just like focus on how packed the stands were? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, this is great. You guys, women's sports are up. Women's soccer is up. It's US soccer is up. I'm just so excited.
Very exciting times, I think, across the board. So we'll say it proudly today. Go USA, go US women's national team. Congratulations on the She Believes Cup, and see you this summer at the Olympics. Go USA.